So hello everybody and welcome to another opportunity to explore through video some of the contents of Suffolk Learning. If I scroll down the welcome page for the earlier section, you'll see we've already had a little change to the way our material looks, because we've now had a sway offered at the beginning on the very front page to just explain a little bit more about what the Early Years and Childcare Service provides for settings. I just wanted to quickly show you how you can view this sway, this presentation, in a number of different ways. This particular one has been put on so that we can go from side to side looking at the slides, horizontally, so we can flick through and have a look at the sections. However, there are other ways in which you can view this sway, and I'm particularly talking about sways today because I'm going to show you a page with lots of sways as a focus. But another way you can do it is by clicking on this icon here, which gives you a menu, and you can scroll through and look for the bit you're particularly interested in. So, as I said, this sway is highlighting different aspects of our provision for providers and settings. However, you can also change the way you view this way. If you're not keen on going from side to side, you can go into the settings up here and have a look at it and make it move vertically instead. And it makes it look, it reformats it to make it work better in a sort of top to bottom kind of format. And on top of that, you can also expand it if you want to have a real focus on the content just by clicking on this button here. And then it reconfigures so that you can easily scroll up and down and look at the content in more detail and with a greater focus without all the other things on the page. You're probably aware that all of the material that's underlined in blue will probably be a link to other pages, some of which are on this website. And then if you just move your cursor to the top, you can then escape by clicking on that X, moving your cursor to the front, and that takes you back to the page on which you found the sway. However, today I really wanted to focus on a new page which has been added to this EYFS section. And it's this areas of learning right at the top, so nice and easy to find if you use the little arrow to open up the bigger menu. And if we click on here, so following the revisions of the statutory framework back in 2021, we decided to put together a series of presentations which we used in online discussions with groups and settings and practitioners to really explore how the different programs of study for each area of learning had changed and what that might mean for their provision and their curriculum. And what we have done is collected some of the ideas that were created and generated during that process to put together these 7 different sways which individually explore one area of the curriculum. They are an opportunity for you to revisit the new programs of study with your staff and consider your curriculum offer in greater depth. So if we open up one of these, let's go back to the top and start with personal and social. So when it's loaded, you can start to scroll through some lovely pictures and some ideas that have been generated in preparation and during and after those sessions that I described that we had a couple of years ago. So here we can see a comparison between the old text and the new, and I think a lot of the sways do contain that comparison between previous versions and more recent ones, and then maybe analyze it a little bit in a little bit more detail. Obviously within this one, the PSED, you can see some quite significant changes to the early learning goals. And then we can sort of think about other things that surround the changes. In this one, it's looking at how Ofsted might be viewing things in a bit more detail. But there's also built within these, and maybe useful within staff meetings, some tasks and activities where you can actually think about your own personal situations, provision, your staffing, perhaps any training needs that might come by just by exploring in a bit more depth by doing some of these activities. And this particular one has a series of phrases which you could consider in relation to the questions above, and you can sort of flick through these cards and have a look at these, use these as prompts for discussions. And then there's another activity underneath again which you can use to think about your provision. And underneath is the current training opportunities that you may, as a result of talking with staff and exploring these tasks and the material presented, that you might think are relevant to book places on. And finally, some links to other places on the internet where there will be hopefully some useful supportive material, starting at the top there with the government website, but going into lots of major mainstream support organisations that are focused on this particular area of learning. So all of the different sways for the different curriculum areas will have a similar sort of format with useful provocations, ideas, tasks, links to training, and hopefully will really help to support you in your thinking around how to ensure that your curriculum offers what the UFS is looking for. And it may also inform your discussions you have with your advisor or worker. And I'm sure we'll all be more than pleased to sort of talk through any ideas that come up as a result of exploring one of these particular sways. Okay, that was it for this time. Thank you very much.